Welcome to Etude number 10, part 3, the final part. This has been all for the Villa-Lobos 12 and 12 challenge, 12 etudes across 12 months. We're going to dive straight into the main points on this fantastic ending. Welcome to micro-study number 11. Main points here are practice the shapes first in isolation before putting them back into the rhythms and the music. Number 2, use your anchor fingers and pre-prepared fingers to help facilitate the shifts here. There are a lot of them and it's easy to do if you think about them ahead of time. Legato, think legato. Chords need to hang on for as long as possible, so top tip here is to practice those shifts at a slower tempo, but the actual shifting at a higher tempo so that you hold on longer and shift faster. Watch out for the 3-2 time change. Obviously it adds extra beats and Villa-Lobos is kind of adding to the anticipation for the end. Let's dive in to this fantastic Coda material. Welcome to micro-study number 11, the Coda. These are all the chords first. We just step through the chord shapes 2 bars at a time. It all starts and kicks off at bar 57. For the most part, your first finger is going to be static on the F sharp note. And in the second half of each 2 bar idea, you have this. You have a little hammer-on or a skip rhythm. So, first finger, F sharp, fourth finger, C sharp, second finger, E, and then we have the static G and open B there. You can pre-prepare your third finger for the next chord, so that all you have to do then is move your fourth finger down. So your third finger comes onto a C natural, and your fourth finger will come down to a D for the second chord. Lovely complex chord there. It's a C9 over an F sharp bass. And then the third chord is just an A7 chord, and first finger obviously stays on the F sharp, second finger stays on the E, and third finger goes down to a C sharp. Making sure that you clear the open A string as well, so that you've got those all ringing out. And that is it for the first 2 bars in essence. So again, second finger stays down as an anchor finger for the 2 bars. Don't take it off, just set it and leave it. Fourth finger is going to move down to a D. Third finger is going to pre-prepare on the C natural. And then once you've got all of that, I would just practice it as chord shape. And practice that on the end so that you get used to hammering on, because it is a 1-4 hammer on, but with 2 and 3 on as well. So you're going to have to bring your wrist round a little bit and practice that. And that is the first 2 bars. So let's just take a look at them quickly in slow motion. The next area to look at is bar 59, where we get a switch. So at bar 59 you are going to have to switch from the first finger to the second finger on the bass line, because you then have a B7 chord. Now you have the choice of taking your fourth finger on to do the hammer on there, or you have your third finger coming up. The third finger is a good option because you already have a B in the chord, but it also is part of it is the root of the chord. It's easier to do the fourth finger, but obviously the choice is yours. At this point, fingers 3 and 4 pretty much stay down on the next couple of chords. So let's just look at the fingering from bar 60. Bar 60 we have a 2 on the F sharp, a 3 on the B, a 1 on the D sharp, and a 4 on the A, so that gives us a B7 chord with an open B string. And then you move into 3 and 4 staying down, first finger on an F natural, open D, open B, And then the last chord is open E, A sharp, E with the second finger, and D with the fourth finger. And again, all I would do is change them around each other first to get used to that. And that is it for in essence for those. So let's just take a look at from bar 59, nice and slowly into 62. Welcome to Microstudies 12 and 13. Main points here are: put a metronome on and separate out the bass line from the accompaniment to first get it, and second to really nail the syncopation. We're in Brazil here, it is a samba, so you need to feel that push-pull. Right hand fingers, IMA, for the most part are on strings 4, 3 and 2, with the occasional drop to strings 3, 2 and 1. Be aware of that as the accompaniment moves. Practice the accompaniment on its own if needs be. Laser ahead, there's some fantastically big shifts here, especially from fret 10 to fret 14, right near the end. Make sure that your eyes are ahead of your fingers so you know where you're going. And lastly, please note that Villa-Lobos cycles the time signatures down from 5/4 to 4/4 to 3/4 to really ratchet up the excitement on the end here. So keep a track of that. Know where it is. This will also help you memorize the piece. Let's dive in and check these two microstudies out now. Now, microstudy number 12, I've separated out into bass and accompaniment, and it is the first 3 power chords: B5, D5, F5. The B5 and the D5 are in 5/4 time signature. The F5 cycles down 1 to 4/4. And then the next microstudy, it cycles down again into 3/4. So your job is to separate the bass line and the accompaniment. So here's the accompaniment, nice and slowly. So Villa-Lobos has kindly put the 5 as a right hand shift onto strings 3, 2 and 1 to make it really easy for you to count. So you can count 4 and then 5 as an extra beat, or you can count 3 and 2. And then the bass line. So if I put the bass line in now with that accompaniment, so those are the first 2 bars from 66, so 66 and 67. And then 68, we cycle down into 4/4, and the accompaniment doesn't change, except this time on the 4 we have, now it's strings 4, 3 and 1. Be aware of that, okay? So the accompaniment looks a little bit like this. Whether or not that's a mistake, I don't know, but that's what was written in the score. I mean, maybe it should have been to even it up and sound like the rest, but that's what's written. Then your bass line, he's added in an extra beat here, so we go. Alright, so make sure that you really get that ba, 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 ba. Really starting to get that samba pull there. So together that sounds like. And that is the first sort of 3 bars of this piece. Best suggestion here to really get it tight is stick a metronome on. I'm using the Sound Bremer Pulse. It's a free app, great metronome, really highly recommended. It normally goes with their pulse watches. And then that is quavers, so that's your accompaniment on the beat, always. And then put your bass lines in. If you are still struggling with it, stick the bass line in and count. Really make sure that you nail those bass lines. That one's nice and tricky, so that's bar 68 on the F. And if you need to, think of it as on, off, which is a great way of really getting the pulse. And your accompaniment will always be on, so that plays against this. And that is it for that first micro study. Welcome to micro study number 13. This is the Coda part 3. So here we're in the 3/4 bar. We're at bar 69 and we're on a G5 chord up at 10th fret. Now you can already hear my guitar starting to squeal a little bit at me and wobble. So again, accompaniment separate from the bass line. So on the end there, Villa-Lobos on the 2 and has a drop to 3 strings 3, 2 and 1, then up to 4, 3, 2, and then just 5, 4 and 3. And you have 2 choices. You can either do it IMA, IMA, PIM, or you could do IMA, PIM, PIM. It really depends on what you feel most comfortable with. The bass line now really has become syncopated, where it's on, off, off, on, off, off. So the second bar, bar 70, has a little bit extra in terms of syncopation, so you really need to keep an eye on that. Together, that sounds like this. So that last bar really is just you playing IMA, P, IMA, P, IMA, P after the first beat. So again, Villa-Lobos has helped us out by putting the low E on the right hand shift. And then we're up to the high B there. And that is it. Once again, stick the metronome on, practice it nice and slowly, and then build it up to speed, because this is Viv, which means like super fast. Thank you very much for staying until the end. This has been part of the Villa-Lobos 12 and 12 challenge, 12 etudes across 12 months. It is run from classicalguitarrocks.com, so head over there for some freebies and for in-depth lessons on Villa-Lobos' entire catalogue and loads extra. Have a good one.